As you were well aware, last week a little boy lost his life at Disney World when an alligator dragged him into the lagoon. In Florida, we do know that alligators are a clear and present danger, but what legal obligations do places like Disney have to protect us? Here with what you need to know about it is Shari. There's been a lot of conversations sparked about this, and it's so tragic, just a horrible, horrible situation all the way around. What laws apply to cases like this?
So, fortunately, these instances aren't very common in Florida. You know, between 5 and 15 a year recorded, very few deaths. But the laws that apply to this case apply to very many different types of situations we might encounter, and the theory is wrongful death. So in order to prove a wrongful death case, there are 3 elements. The first element is that there was a duty of care. So in this case, the argument would be that Disney had a duty of care because there were dangers that they were aware of or should have been aware of that they knew that their guests would not be as aware of, and so they had a duty to warn them. The second element then is a breach of that duty of care, and the third is that the breach of duty of care caused the death. Now, damages are what's being sought in a case like this because it's a civil case, not a criminal case where you're looking for punishment. And the damages, which we were talking about before we went live, could include pain and suffering. But these are the cases where you also hear about the loss of the benefit of the life. So you're talking about age and life expectancy and earning potential and things like that.
Oh, it just turns your stomach when you even think about this sad, sad story. And it's so sad that we talk about the legalities. It's turned into, all right, let's talk about the legal issues surrounding it when it's just so sad. But we are, so let's talk about Disney then. Does Disney have a defense in a case like this?
Yeah, but we were talking about this before too. They're probably not going to exercise that. If they did, they'd have to refute those 3 elements. So they would have to say things like, it's Florida, everyone knows there's alligators, we had no duty of care. Or we met that duty of care by posting the no swimming signs and whatever other actions they took. Or even saying that it wasn't the cause. So as horrible as it sounds, arguing that, look, maybe we breached, but, you know, the dad also wasn't watching the kids, so that was part of the cause. So that's really not likely to happen.
So how's a case like this going to play out?
Well, I mean, obviously they knew that there was an issue. There were guests that were telling them that there were alligators, that were menacing, they were taking other actions, so they knew where there was an issue. Disney, of all places, Roxanne, has guests from all over the world, many places where they don't even have alligators, and they bend over backwards to create this very safe-seeming environment. When you're in Disney, you feel like nothing's going to happen to you, and they create this environment where they're artificially sort of controlling it. And what we've heard is that they were actually placing chairs and umbrellas, encouraging people to use this beach area. So there was definitely a duty of care there. When it comes to whether or not they breached it, the courts are probably going to look at signage and how other places deal with this in terms of signage. Shark Valley, other places that there are threats like this. At the end of the day, there will probably be a big settlement. I'm sure it'll be confidential, but I would guess that this family is going to want to see Disney take some steps to make sure this doesn't happen, and we all will see some of those steps in the places that we go. Golf courses where there are alligators will follow.
Good point. No matter what, nothing brings this precious little boy back.
No, horrible.
Oh, Shari, horrible case. Thank you for filling us in on that and the other elements to it. Felicia.